Okay, because nothing meaningful is going to happen on this before Monday anyway, you may as well have a look at some of this stuff that I encountered once I added in your specifications, etc. This is where we were, and you had wanted to move that south. But first of all, we make it, and it's 88 by 80. That's what it is. It's 80 this way and 88 this way. 6'8" by 7'4". And now I have it pushed out where this is 3'1" and this is 2'8". And that's the framing underneath that we had there, the bigger one, and that framing can be shifted, no problem. Up here then, we also wanted to bring this top down. And then these were just a couple things for you to think about between now and Monday, and I can easily have these ready to go in an hour or two, tops, once you decide what you want on this, where you want this hot tub to actually be. Now it's down here. It can move to the east. This span can get wider to the east. You would want to cut those joists where they lap here, but this span can get wider to the east and still pass the code that they're going to follow for that. But when we get wider here, these floor joists become, if we want to keep them 2x6 to keep that maximum 7-inch drop or whatever it is, then those have to be number 1 Southern Yellow Pine in a 2x6 at 12 inches on center. And I mean, if it were me, I would be dividing out that final opening and just space them at something less than 12 inches on center, so that they end up even with one at the end on each end, because those are going to get a platform over them of the same decking material. I talked to the people at Watson's about how this loading is applied. It's all flat on the bottom, so it's spread out evenly over, in this case, this 49 feet. And you can move it this way all you like as well. We'll have to put a special dimension in for these two, all these piers here, because they were all lined up like this. When we move it south, we'll have to add some dimensions to take care of that. Going upstairs, that's where it is, like that. I could just pull the trigger right there and just leave it at that if you want. But as I said, it's still going to be Monday morning before they look at anything. But that's where it was, and there was a few other little, variations for you to at least know that you looked at. And I have it like this, where this just becomes 20 inches back here. And this is maintained at that 4'4", in case there were bar stools here, in case this bar, not that you need any more of that, but if you could easily extend this bar top that's on the top of this wall, that could be extended 9 inches or whatever it takes. 9 is the bare minimum to get seating along that as well, facing this way or whatever. And when I looked at, at these hot tubs, they said, consider where you're going to be looking, what you're going to be looking at out here, etc. So I arrived at that point, and one of the other things, the reason I didn't want to go any further with the drawings, and so maybe it'll take 3 hours to get them ready, but I have to figure out exactly how you're going to access that panel and get that framing in accordance with that. So yeah, if it's there, we move it, so we are moving it east, and then this rotates it, which is another kind of idea to think about. Now this is only showing 16 inches through here, about 45 from the railing to the edge here. I moved that back to closer to 50. Kind of like that. I kind of start favoring that. It looks like it's about 2 feet up here, 1'11" and 3'2" here. But it is your choice. But just tell me, both the rotational type orientation and exactly where you want it. If you want it all the way back up like that. That was your original idea, and if that's good, that's what I'll go with and design it accordingly. And down here, as I said, you can move these beams, and if if we rotate it, it's rotated like that, then this framing should be rotated as well so that this span remains that short span. So that's another reason that I need to know that for sure. I mean, we could just go with this bit here, show that, and be done with it, and then if you want to change it during the thing, but we would have to submit revisions to them probably to do that. So that's why it's important to just get this finalized now. And here's how this is appearing right now on the drawings as they have been modified thus far. With this here, when you take the weight of this, which is about 800 pounds with its cover and its water, it's 4,300 pounds, and then I gave 200 pounds per person, which is 1,200, making this around 5,500 pounds maximum of all the loading. And that is spread out over this 49 square feet, which means it's 113 pounds per square foot. I designed this for 150 pounds per square foot with these numbers here, because the 20 pounds per square foot, the dead load, is just that hot tub itself and its cover. The water and the people are the live load. So that is what the design exists now. Whether it turns or not, that is the note that will be on there. And I don't know if they would be sticky enough that if you change that model to a different model, same size, whether they'd be sticky about that or not. But that's all on that. This is what I ended up with then, doing it this way with that at that location. And I left a ½ inch at each end and a ½ inch on each side to get that hot tub in and out of there. I did not want to try to figure out how to access the panel yet until we knew its orientation and its rotation and its actual location. That was where it kind of specified, and these were some, because of what you had said about trying to get it pushed into this, pushed this way even some. So these were some different looks at that. And here I end up with almost 2 feet at the squeeze point here, and it gets wider, and 3 foot through here, with about 50 inches to the edge. So you would have to move that beam over to the right some, which would not be a problem. And I also took a quick look at that, and I don't think it's not valid, but I'm not sure that's really what you were considering. But that is a whole other thing. If you want that considered, that's a whole other thing. Finally, to wrap this up, recall these are 2x12 beams through here. These have to be double 2x12s. They can be number 1 or number 2, but they are 2x12s. That gets us this big drop here, well, a big enough drop, that these 2x6 joists, they have to be number 1 southern yellow pine, 12 inches on center, are suspended with hangers at the bottom of that beam, of those beams on each side, and then the composite material laid over them. This hot tub, you can't see it, but it goes down behind that beam and is sitting on this platform. The hot tub has also been rotated in this view, which is skewing everything in any event. And when that happens, with this particular model, 34 inches high, you have about 21 inches from the surface of the deck to the edge of the hot tub, closer to 24 with the hot tub cover on it. And so if you can live with less than 21 inches to the edge of the hot tub, and if you want it a little bit more, you could go to 2x8 joists underneath that, and probably at 16 inches on center. And then you could move the joists, 2x6s or 2x8s, you could move those all the way up to where their top was level with the top of that 2x12, which means the edge of the hot tub would be about 27 inches from the deck. So there's about a 6-inch range terms of how much that hot tub projects out of the deck. You can get back with me. Yeah, just let me know, and I will have them ready to go well before Monday morning. I will have to figure out that panel, though, how to get to that. I don't think it's going to be a big headache, but it definitely has to be considered, particularly which end it is and all of that. So thanks very much, and I will be in touch, or you will, I'm sure.